Hello, everyone. Tim Davis coming to you guys with a quick, I guess, midweek video. And this is something different that I decided to do this week since I had a little bit extra time on my hand. Looked at a few stocks that I've been watching probably for the past year, or some that I just found out about. That from a technical standpoint. Now, let me emphasize it from a technical standpoint only. That look like they could be setting up for a pretty decent run, possibly. So without further ado, I want to pay close attention to these couple stocks just from a technical standpoint and show you what the technicals are showing us for a possible setup and a possible maybe recovery rally for some of them in 2024. First one we'll take a look at is Yeti. Yeti is a pretty decent company that folks who follow Yeti. It's the tumbler company who has a lot of different type of tumblers that a lot of people like because of the type of product it has. But nevertheless, looking at it from a technical standpoint, here's a weekly chart. We'll start off by looking at from Yeti. And Yeti has, it was trading as high as 108 back in around October, as you can see here, in 2021. And, traded down for quite a while for the past couple of years since then. But what I want to point out is got down to as low as $28 or around $28 around about September of 2022. And since then, it's been slowly but surely trying to have some type of recovery rally. Trying to do some type of recovery rally here while looking at this weekly chart. So from about $28 back in October, around October of 2022, to where it's at now, around about $48. And looks like that overall upward trend could continue. Now, it's still trading below. On a weekly chart, it's still trading below. 1 second, folks. Still trading below its 200-day moving average. And that could be an attractive sign that it's been trading between its 200-day and its 50-day and its weekly chart for quite a bit. As you can see, since it bounced off of this area here, it's been trading between its 200-day and I guess the 50-day for quite a bit. Could we ultimately see a break above the 200-day? That is a possibility with this upward trend that it's been seeing since it reached that $28 level back in October to about $48 now. Could we finally get a breakout above that 200-day level? That is a huge possibility, folks. So Yeti is one to possibly take a look at for 2024, and it's in an uptrend that is threatening to break back above that 200-day moving average. That's what the daily chart looks like for Yeti. If we take a quick glance at a yearly daily chart for Yeti. Here's a daily chart for Yeti. As you can see, it's been pretty volatile with these big swings that we've seen since getting below that getting below 200-day moving average on a weekly. But looks like we got a solid bounce off its 200-day again, right around here, around about the beginning of February, and it looks like it's headed back up. Got some resistance up here. So again, we could see more volatility, but the longer term picture, we could see Yeti break back above this level here, which is right around about $53. We could see that break back above that level sometime during the course of this year. But all in all, even with this volatility that we've seen here, has made another bounce recently off its 200-day moving average on the daily. And one thing to point note, does have earnings coming up on the 15th, which is tomorrow. And that could either push it back down to this 200-day, or it could be, the chance for the continuation of this rally. So Yeti, again, that's something to pay close attention to. All right, next stock on the horizon, AI. AI, which is another one of those companies that's in the AI space. This one has been very volatile as well since it came on the scene. But as you can see, again, this one got as high as $48 back in around June, between June and July of 2023. And since, it trended downward, but look where to. Only back to around its 200-day moving average, folks, or just below it on its daily chart. And been pretty much consolidating right around that level. And if I was to add a trend line in here, you can see how it got to around that 200-day, just below the 200-day moving average. And it's been pretty much been holding steady right above this trend line here, which is just above. Trend line just drew. It's been holding pretty steady every time we bounce back down to this $24 level. It found ways to bounce. Now we're right back at the 200-day moving average on a daily. Could this be the look that it's been waiting for to finally get a bounce back above that 200-day moving average and continue higher? Has earnings coming up on the 28th of February. Could this be the opportunity that AI is looking for to start to break back above all this congestion here, as you see here? So this area here, let me highlight this area here, which is all the congestion area. Since it got a back up around this level, right around this 200-day moving average is where we've been pretty much staying around. So if we break back above this level here, which is right around $30, we can start to see AI take off. So that's one to possibly consider for 2024 as well. From a technical standpoint, here is the weekly chart. Weekly chart shows a little bit of a bounce from the area that I showed you that looks like a level of support. Like a little bit of bounce there. Look at the CI or this RSI. Some RSI showing a possible buy signal starting to show up. That's CCI. It's my CCI right there. So showing what looks like a lift in the oscillators in the CCI. It's showing a possible move to the upside on the weekly chart. And the weekly chart shows a move back above its 50-day moving average. And it looks like it had a huge move above its 50-day moving average and then sold off right back to the 50-day, which is now using it as an area of support. So could this be the final move for AI to continue its move higher after multiple red weeks in a row, as you can see here? The multiple red weeks in a row. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Almost 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 red weeks in a row. Then we finally get a green. So could we be in store for green weeks in a row? That's a huge possibility. So again, AI is one to consider for 2024. All right, next one on the beaten down path is actually PATH, P-A-T-H. It's another one that I've been watching for the past year or two. Okay, here is starting off by taking a look at the weekly chart. And just right out the gate, I see how PATH, again, it was in a long-term downtrend, got around its 50-day moving average and pretty much used it as an area of support and resistance. And then finally got a nice bump above it. And look what it's doing. It's hanging right above it. Looks like a bull flag on a weekly chart. So this could continue. This could continue to stay above this 50-day moving average on a weekly, and then we could start to see a continuation higher. That's a possibility, and that is PATH. And if we look at it from a daily view, here we go. It's a nice move off of its 200-day moving average way back here in November of last year, and look what it's done. It stayed above it, got a gap up above it here, came back down, filled the gap, back down to its 50-day moving average, and look like it's using this 50-day as a level of support, because since it made it to that back down to that 50-day. It didn't drop back down here to 200-day. It just moved to uses 50 as a level of support and just been bouncing off of it. Could this continue throughout 2024? That is a possibility, which is why it is currently on my list after we're seeing a big gap between the 200-day and the 50-day. And we're price action now using the 50-day as an area of support. So PATH is one to take a look at and consider for 2024. FVRR is another one that I ran across this one from another channel that I watch. And this one looks unique as well. And as you can see here, since it dropped below its 50-day moving average on this daily chart, it started creating high lows on the way up, back down to this trend line and getting this bounce. And finally got this bounce above this 200-day and the 50-day. And look, the 50-day is starting to cross back over the 200-day, which is also a bullish signal. This is on a daily chart, and looks like it's using this 200-day and the 50-day right now as an area of support. Could this be in the process of a continuation higher throughout the year? That's a possibility. So that's why it is on my list of stocks to possibly consider or watch. Here is the weekly chart. Again, it's like it's just like it's ready to get off the mat. So that's something to pay close attention to. FVRR. More RingCentral. RingCentral is another stock that appears to be some kind of AI play. Now the oscillators on this one does not look as attractive as others. As oscillators on this weekly chart. Has earnings coming up. Anything is possible. Could it stall out here? Look at the oscillators and CCI trending downward. Full stochastic 100% CCI on the weekly chart. But could this be an area where it stalls and just stay here, remain here, or could this be time for a turnaround? Time will tell. But this was one that I deemed to be rather interesting, to say the least. All right, here is a daily chart. And one thing I like about daily chart is right even before it reports earnings, is that it traded back down to its 200-day moving average and got a bounce there. So that's what makes me really want to pay close attention. It's getting a bounce off of the 200-day. Now, you get with earnings coming up, can it hold it? That is the big key. Look at the full stochastics. It is still in oversold conditions. So it leads me to believe that it has potential to make a move higher. Wins percentage also was oversold conditions, starting to come out of oversold conditions. CCI was in oversold. It's starting to come out of oversold. So could we get this continuation of the bounce? That is a possibility. That is why it is on my list of stocks to consider or watch. Okay. That's RingCentral. SOFI, another one that's starting to look pretty interesting. With this, as you can see, my trend line already drawn with it, a stock that's trending higher in general, showing higher lows. Every time we get a huge bounce off of this particular trend line, well above the moving average, bounces back towards the moving average, back down to the trend line, and starts to consolidate, and it's like it's ready to hit back up. So are we about to break back above this 50-day moving average? That is a huge possibility. Look at the oscillators and the full stochastic win percentage and CCI, all like they want to turn up. So that's what the daily chart looks like on SOFI. Here's a weekly chart on SOFI. And if we look below at a few of these oscillators, full stochastic showing a possible buy signal there. Wins percentage starting to turn back up. CCI like it wants to turn back up. And price action getting the bounce right off of its 50-day moving average right there. So that is one to consider or one to watch so far. Last but not least, stocks to consider or watch, CHWY, Chewy. Chewy is another one that's starting to look interesting. After it's sold off daily since the pandemic, and it looks like it may have found some support. May have finally found some support where it could start to see a reversal back to the upside. So Chewy got all the way down here to about 16 bucks, started to consolidate. It's been consolidating down here in this area between 16 to, I guess, 16 to about 20 bucks. And it looks like we're starting to see that it's pretty much settled there. I mean, the CCI is starting to show a possible move that like it wants to reverse back to the upside after being in oversold conditions. We're in percentage in oversold conditions, like it may be ready to turn back up. And for stochastics in oversold, looks like it may be ready to turn back up after we have consolidated for quite a bit. Chewy is one to pay close attention to. We look at a daily chart in Chewy. You'll see, again, back down to this 1653 level, we started to consolidate, bounce up off of that level, almost up to the 200-day, back down to this level. Looks like we have back down to where we could see a bounce again. Look at the full stochastics. Williams percentage, I say. Its oscillator is already starting to turn up. CCI oscillator is starting to turn up. Leads me to believe full stochastic is probably not too far behind it. And we could start to see a move higher. Something to consider. All right, folks, just wanted to do that real quick, give you guys some ideas to take a look at. Hopefully this is information you guys can use. Until the next video, Tim Davis signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.